You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Well, let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If on the other hand you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, 29th day of November, 2018. Hope you're having a great Thursday, whoever you are and wherever you are. Just want to say thanks for joining us. So glad to have you with us. I've got a chart up of the S&P 500 Emini Futures, as I do, and well, it's interesting. It's been a very interesting week. It started with that, I don't want to call it fake news out of China, but the misunderstood news, let's call it that, which created that funny little spike. Then yesterday, the head of the Fed, he says, you know, maybe I won't be as aggressive raising interest rates. Now that produced a 50-point rally. If you can't see my chart, just go to our homepage at CFRN.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone. Follow the instructions. You'll be registered through the end of the month. I know that's not long, and December 1st, you'll have to do it all over again. That's how it works. You only register once per month, but you have to register once per month. Okay? Now, when you're away from the office, away from the desk, you can always use your phone, your tablet, any internet connected device to jump onto youtube.com/CFRN/live. youtube.com/CFRN/live. That gives you, there's a dual stream there, just like you get right here when you use the GoTo software, but sometimes the GoTo goes out or goes down, and no matter where you are, you can connect via YouTube. Okay? All right. So, again, we are well above our highest weekly trading zone, 2699/2700. Last week, the highest weekly zone was way up at 2815/2816. I don't think we're going there. In fact, this is not a prediction, it's not a prophecy. This is based on historical observance over the last 9 years. Well, come December 14th, 9 years. 2 weeks out, 9-year anniversary for the weekly trading zones. And yes, you can go back and look at every one over time. They've all been documented, posted, listed. So, don't know what good that does you. Because, you know how they say past performance is no indication of future results? It really isn't. And so, mining through the minutia of the past doesn't... You know what? Let me rephrase that. If it helps you with the trade you're in today, go for it. Then you absolutely should do that. I don't ever want to stand in anyone's way of being successful. I just know the things that clutter my field of view. Now, it's bad enough when the market does the duck. Now, I put the duck up, a couple weeks ago, and let's just see how well we might find it. I'm just going to put in the word duck, because I don't remember what else I said. No messages found. Now that's interesting, because I'm pretty sure this is the channel I put it in. Made an image of a duck. Maybe it's possible I put it in a different channel. No, I don't think so. Let me just scroll up a wee bit, because I want to show you this is a reoccurring thing, and it's a thing that when you see the duck, in fact, one of you guys sent me an email the other day, and you asked, is this the duck? And I said, that looks like more of an alligator, but the concept is basically the same. Here we go. This was on November 16th. I posted this. When you see the market looks like a northern shoveler, stay out. There's your northern shoveler. And this is what the market looked like on that day and time at 2:31 a.m. Okay? Now that's 2:31 a.m. Mountain Standard. That would be, I guess, 4:30 Eastern. Okay? All right. So, I drew in the eye and I colored the beak, right? So, now let's take a look at this chart. All we got to do is just throw the indicators up there. This is a 30-minute chart, by the way. And duck. Okay. Where are my little drawing tools? I got little drawing tools. I don't use them very much, but by golly, today I think I will. Where's it at? Okay, pretty to see the head, pretty to see the eye. I don't know if you find this in any technical analysis books. It's just something. To me, it looked like a duck. And the longer the bill gets, when this thing finally decides which way it wants to go, it can be pretty dramatic. Okay? How long could this? You see on this chart, there's the CFMA1, the BBC, there's no separation. These are 30-minute candles. It's just grinding sideways. Now, looked like we were about to get something going on here, but look what happened. I circled this yesterday because I said if the market continues higher and comes back, this is a potential place for us to find good support. Okay, we did all this noise. We did come down. We did find support. We pushed back up. And what do? Next candle, we roll right over. Now they say, who, you know, just we'll call them they say that because the outcome of the China meeting Saturday night, President Trump will sit down with Xi Jinping and they will try to work out this whole tariff issue and some other issues. Now, if anybody gets mad and storms out of the meeting, but that probably won't happen. Any good news that comes out of the meeting could send the market substantially higher. Good news. Now, we still have to get through tomorrow, Friday. So, is the market going to just do this? I wish I could tell you. I really do. Problem is I don't know. And I won't ever attempt to tell you something that I don't firmly, fully believe in. Knowing when to be in a trade or when to trade is probably, or knowing when not to trade is probably more important than knowing when to trade. Because you see here, could you find this is my trying to think of the best term, because I know when I use the wrong term, then in a mentoring session 2 weeks later, oh well, you said to do this. Nah, well, what I might have said was that I do this, and this is a personal preference of mine. When I say something that's a hard and fast rule, I try to point that out. When it's just simple guidance, I try to point that out. Personal preference, I try to point that out. But when I see this in good conscience, I really can't do anything. Okay. Now, the S&P indices, do we have a resting buy order above this noise? We do in the Logic 247. And if the markets start to crater, we know what that looks like. We know where they're headed, and we'll be all over that. But as long as it continues to do this, to put you into trades in the midst of this would in fact be a great disservice. So, like I said, don't trade the northern shoveler. Just let his bill grow as long as it will, and at some point there will be some exogenous event, there will be some geopolitical thing, there'll be just some news coming out. In fact, I don't know what news we do have coming out, but let me check real quick and see what comes out tomorrow.
FOMC meeting minutes this afternoon.
Oh, now that's a possibility. That could move something. What do we got tomorrow?
Let me take a look. Let me take a look.
Now, how did you find this market this morning in the live training room?
Oh, it was awful.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. When I finished up the meeting with Mallory, we spent an hour, and then I was going to follow her in, and then I said, you know, I really need to kind of take a look around here, and the market's just. Now, guys, I mentioned rolling, I think, natural gas yesterday. I know we need to roll copper. In fact, gold. I put that in the channel. Yeah, gold. We rolled gold to GGCG9.
Yes, that is correct.
So let me figure out how to get rid of this pen. Erase all drawings. There we go. The duck is gone. All right. Do I get my cursor back? No. Normal non-drawing mode. Okay, that's what I want. GGCG9. So here we are. That's a big jump. What are we? We're all the way out in March, right? With gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we won't be rolling that again for a while. Or no, wait. H is March. Okay. Did you look at the news for tomorrow?
Yeah, I did. We had Chicago PMI coming out 9:45.
9:45, and that's really it, huh?
That's it. Pre-market, there's some Canadian high impact stuff, but nothing else. European stuff, medium impact, 5 a.m. Really, we don't have anything between now and then we have the G20 meetings. Those are going on day 1 of the G20 meetings, so that could be something that would trigger. Something gets leaked from those meetings.
Well, tomorrow morning, when London opens 3 a.m. Eastern, Draghi is going to speak. It doesn't say about what, it just says he's going to speak. And then at 3:55 a.m. Eastern, we get the German unemployment change. Those are both high impact news events, according to investing.com. And then nothing else high impact until... Oh wait, I'm on today. Hang on. Stop the press. Okay. Let me roll over to tomorrow. The stuff I just mentioned, that already happened this morning. And the fact that we saw no reaction off Draghi speaking, I find interesting. Okay, we got Europe's CPI coming out, high impact, year over year, at 5 a.m. Eastern. And then the next high impact would be Canada's GDP. And while it's high impact for Canada, I never really seen it affect the rest of the world too much. And then Chicago PMI. Do you show that as a high impact?
Chicago PMI?
Yeah, I show it as medium. Yeah, guys. So we got no real news.
I showed it as medium too.
We got no real news to drive the markets tomorrow. Canadian GDP is not going to do it. And is there anything after the bell tonight in China or any such place? Let me scroll down. Yeah, China's got a high impact tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Manufacturing PMI. Yeah, with all the tariff business and manufacturer stuff in America, yeah, that could hold some sway. It is denoted as a high impact. So that's 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you're trading the Asian session on Globex, you want to keep that in mind. All right, yes. I got a little bit of news for you, but I'm going to just jump to the numbers right now, go over those, and then Michael can give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. Okay, these are the cash markets. We'll talk more about futures here momentarily. Currently, the Dow is down 82 points. NASDAQ is down 27. S&P 500 is down 8. And the Russell 2000 is down 4.5. So it's a big red radio day here in the U.S. In the commodity basket, crude oil added $1.35. That's over 2.5%. Trading 51.64 last. Gold up $2.10, trading 12.31.90 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 85 points. The Shanghai lost 34. The Hang Seng lost 231. And in the European markets, the FTSE at the close was up 34. DAX was down less than a point, and the CAC added 23. So no huge numbers, no big moves anywhere in anything. Probably the most notable would be crude oil, up 2.5%. And that looks a little something like that. And are we coming up on a weekly zone? Nope. In fact, from here on up to the next zone's all the way up at $53. Jump from 5160 right here. And then next, so we got a zone here at 5160, 55/60. The next zone is up at 53/5305. So those are the numbers. And you know, I posted in the channel last night that the S&P, a 50-point rally based on a statement that says, I probably won't be as aggressive as I thought I was going to be on raising interest rates. To me, this seems a little overdone. But hey, what do I know? I'm not the Fed chairman. And so this whole week has been, and this usually happens with holidays. I mean, I love a holiday as much as the next person, but holidays do something odd to the markets. This was the first odd thing this week that kind of threw things out of kilter. It ran up and ran back. It wasn't intended to be fake news. It was just misunderstood news. And then we ran into this. Now these are this week's zones. We are well above the highest weekly trading zone, which based on historical observance tells us that the market will try to find some way to get back to 2700 or below by close of business tomorrow. Does that sometimes not happen? Sometimes. I would venture to say, as we're closing in on 9 years of this, that it probably happens, I don't know, maybe a couple, 3 times a year. Would you say that's about right, Michael? Where we close outside of the zones?
Yeah, 2 or 3 times probably.
Yeah, so over 9 years you can figure it up, because these are weekly zones, so they come out. Once we post them Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern, we don't massage them, manipulate them, change them. They are static. And if we close above it, hey, we close above it. It'll be one of those times that it happens. But I tell you, I've sat here on Friday afternoons, and I've seen price 5 minutes before the close on Friday. I've seen it take a nosedive to get back below that highest zone. And if we're below the lowest, I've seen it stage a rally in the final few minutes on a Friday to get back above it. So can't promise you that's going to happen this week. The market looks like it doesn't want to go lower than this little area right here that I circled yesterday. It came down, bounced off of it. I mean, when this remember, this wick was a green candle, and so boy, I could only imagine how many people got pulled into that. In fact, that was at 10:30, and it looks like that's the highest volume candle of the day. 190,000 in that 30 minutes. That's a lot of contracts, considering that each one has a value of $130-something thousand. I haven't done the calculation yet, but you just take the current price, multiply that times 50 bucks, because it pays 50 bucks a point, and that tells you what the value of the contract is. The fact that you can trade it intraday for 500 bucks, I just don't know of a better opportunity in these markets. It just makes buying individual stocks seem so old-fashioned, but yet that's still what the majority of the world does. So, okay, Michael, if you are ready,
I am.
Okay, take it away. Or did you already take it?
No, I didn't take it yet. No, you were explaining.
Okay.
Showing stuff.
Showing stuff.
Here we go.
So the G20 starts tomorrow?
No, it starts today.
Well, it does start today. Okay, and so
all day today and tomorrow.
Saturday night is when he sits down with the president of China, and they say that's the biggest meeting of the whole G20, and how that ends, what are any good news coming out of that meeting. They say, and you know who they are. They are whoever you want them to be, I guess. But they say that will send the markets even higher. Which, when I come back, we'll take a look at the big picture. Is the market oversold? Is it overbought? Those are terms you don't ever hear us use, because while there may be such a thing as overbought or oversold, a market can stay overbought or oversold for a very, very long time. So I'll hit mute, and it's all yours.
Okay. All right. I am ready to go. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 29th day of November, 2018. Want to remind everybody of a couple of things. One is Bert is hosting a meeting this afternoon. This is the link to it. Okay, to go over what we do in the live trading room. He's going to go over it slowly. There's the link to it. Okay, I'll paste just the link this time. Not all the text. So you can just copy and paste that part if you want. Bert is hosting this meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Other than that, today is Thursday, the 29th day of November, 2018. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at CFRN.net and hang on, I gotta refresh it. There we go. That's still wrong. There we go. Go to the homepage here at CFRN.net, and right over here in the right-hand column, it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. Click on that, and you will be brought to this page, where all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit the submit button, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, we don't know you took the trial. So you got to click that confirmation link. Hang on. Scrolling down. Okay. All right. After tomorrow, everybody on Monday, if you want to come into this session on Monday, you're going to have to go here to the big microphone and click on that, and then go here to watch live now and click on that and fill out this form. Okay, this current form that you've already filled out is only good until tomorrow. All right, we're going to have to create a new one over the weekend, put a link on the website, do all that stuff that we have to do every month. Now, the results. We had a yellow day today. That means we ended positive, but did not get the goal for the day. There was just no opportunity today, really. As I said, today is the 29th day of November, 2018. If you're going to read this, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today I made 20 bucks, 2 ticks on Crude. And it took 4 trades to do it. On the month now, we're at $3,395. That's over 19 days, averaging $178 per day. On the year, we're at $34,773. That's over 221 days, averaging $157 per day. Now, there is something else that I wanted to show to you. Last week, I believe it was Tuesday, we suggested buying the 2650 calls. At that point, they were worth $1,925. They were the November 30th 2650 calls. Currently, those very same calls, the November 30th 2650, hang on, I gotta, 2650 calls are currently worth $3,850. Okay, they were worth over $4,000, but the market's come back a little bit since then. So it happens a few times a year, like Dwayne was saying, and when it does, we like to give you opportunities using other things than futures. This was gold today, and we didn't do a thing with it. Not a darn thing. It wasn't trending in here, so we didn't do anything. It wasn't trending in here, so we didn't do anything. Then we get in here, and it get all choppy. Didn't do anything. Here, the cycle was going down too steep, so I didn't do anything there. And then we got into the break, and it still has not given up a trade setup today. Brad, if we, the question that Brad asked was, he kind of remembers about buying calls last week. What was the signal? The reason to buy the calls was because we were below the lowest weekly trading zone on Tuesday. Okay, if you are below the lowest weekly trading zone on a Monday or a Tuesday, typically that's on the ES. Typically by the end of the week or within a week, you'll be at the other end of the spectrum. Okay, that's why we suggested that last week. Okay, the euro. Well, the euro had some good movement in the pre-market, but then when the market opened up, it only gave us this one trade setup over here that we had to break even on. There was one more here toward the end. Toward the end of the morning session, there was one more here, and during the break, there was one right here, and that was it for the euro. We ended up with a break even on the euro on the morning. Okay, one trade, one break even. Crude oil. With crude, our initial trade on crude stopped us out. Trying to get back to it. Here it is. Stopped us out pretty much to the tick, and then it tried to get down into the cycle, but it didn't make it all the way down until way over here. All right, but it stopped us out pretty much to the tick. We'd have been shooting for a break even right here if it hadn't stopped us out, but you know, there's no counting on. There's no knowing if that would have happened. In here, I wasn't doing anything in here because we weren't really trending, so I was letting it go in here. Then we started a nice leg down. It pulled back, and I grabbed a short trade here. I picked up 10 ticks. That put us at +2 on the morning. Over here, we had a break even, and that was it. I mean, look how choppy it got. Everything was getting really choppy. There was one trade here that I missed. That was right before the end of the morning session. And then during the break, let's see, we had to put in a higher swing, which we did right in here, but then the cycle's going down too steep. So you would have been looking at a short right there. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, that's about it. On the ES, we didn't do anything with the ES this morning. And I will show you why. You see in here, there was just, it wasn't trending. We didn't have a good trend all the way through here this first hour. Then finally it started to break down, and we had a shorting opportunity right there that would have been a break even. I didn't do anything with it. Changed directions, but then it just whipped back and forth across the BBC, and we didn't get any trade setups in here. We didn't get any trade setups. And in here, we were going into the low of the day. That's why we didn't do anything in there. Now it's during the break, and gosh, I'm not seeing anything during the break either. Maybe a short right here, but it's not really trending, so I would have probably stayed away from it. Even right now, the cycle's going down too steep to go long. So the markets have just been a mess today, and I think it's all waiting on those FOMC meeting minutes right now. Okay, so back to the spreadsheet. If you are going to read the spreadsheet, you could read all of the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 29th day of November, 2018. We made 2 ticks on crude. That makes it a yellow day. It means we ended positive, but we did not get the goal for the day. Okay. Now, I had a feeling yesterday when I said something about all this green that we've had going on here for the last couple of months. I had a feeling that we were going to get a slow day. But anyway, we took 4 trades. We didn't get the goal for the day. On the month, we're at 3,395. That's over 19 days, averaging 178 per day. Okay. On the year, we're at 34,773. It's over 221 days, averaging 157 per day. Now that is one contract. 2 hours per day. Okay, one contract. 2 hours per day. And so we have tomorrow. We'll see what the markets are like tomorrow. Okay. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at CFRN.net. And right over here on the right-hand side, it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. If you just click on that, or you click on any one of these other things down here, you will be brought to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Click the submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? If you don't click the confirmation link, we don't know that you took the free trial. And that is that. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne,
Here he is.
You are in Studio A. Okay. And John just popped in too.
Okay, recap of the recap.
Today we had a yellow day today. We only made a couple of ticks in crude. We didn't get the goal for the day.
Yeah, it was a tough go out there today.
It was.
But it's been a great month. So.
Yeah, oh, it's been a fantastic month. Okay, and I just opened up John's mic, so I don't know if he's...
John, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
Welcome to the show. Glad to have you with us.
Much. Yeah. I think we had a dip down this morning in the markets on just a second. On the
meeting with China.
Well, I think it was maybe that, but there was also the plea deal with Cohen. You know, probably shook the markets up for a while. Just kind of created a buying opportunity, really. I mean, some of the stocks have pulled back a bit too, but some of the stronger stocks are acting really, really well today. Netflix is starting to perform well. Facebook's acting really well. Amazon's acting well. Boeing's acting very well. And the others like Nvidia is starting to. And then we actually sold the Nasdaq near the highs last night and bought a dip overnight, sold them again, and then when they went down this morning, we put in a buy near the lows, and I was fairly confident we were going to have a rebound because there's such a big up day yesterday. That's a good point, John. I mean, Powell, he said maybe I won't be so aggressive on raising interest rates, but the market jumped 50 points like he had actually whacked or cut interest rates. You know, just holding here is a big deal in of itself. In other words, if they don't, I mean, I'm not so sure they're going to raise rates next month. And if they don't raise rates, the market's probably going to go up just as much again. You know, we might have another 500 or 600 point up day. Well, what I wanted to show you, could you do the SPY?
Yeah.
And the Dow in a minute, and the daily, because I want to show you the formation. It's
now the SPY I'll have to bring up on my other charting system.
Oh, well, or if you can, any kind of a thing without the future, that's not the, well, how about looking at the daily futures first, see what that looks like?
Yeah, sure. All right, here's an S&P 500. If you want me to bring up a clean chart without anything. Well,
actually, yeah, what I want is the one, you know, not a futures chart, just a regular. But look at this doji on, you know, what is it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, yeah, Friday's doji. I mean, this was actually I don't think I've ever seen a Friday after Thanksgiving perform as badly as this week. And as I was telling you yesterday, this guy nailed it, and he said it was a bear trap. But the doji was a pretty good giveaway that the market looked like it was going to turn. And I mean, if you look at, can you go back to that for a second?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I was going to get over to that SPX or SPY.
I mean, if you look at the action here, you know, these three big up days with expanding volume, especially yesterday. I mean, this is a pretty bullish kind of a formation. Yeah, you know what I'm about to show you when you see the non-futures, you know, chart, you're going to see something that is very rare. And you know, when you get a good bottom like this, it tends to go a long way. So I think it's got a, you know, very good chance of getting up towards 29 into the 29s again. Maybe even this is enough power to get this thing through 3,000. And look, if we go through 3,000 on the S&P, we're probably going to go to 3,300 or so. So you know, this could be the beginning of something really epic. And as I've said, you know, you and I, we both talked about this. You know, we've had a more or less perfect three-wave pullback, you know, for the most of the year, and now we're sort of setting up for what could be a very strong year next year. And you know, everybody thinks this tax cut is just like a one-year deal. It's a lot. It's probably a multi-year deal, if not it could impact markets for a decade or more. So I wouldn't, maybe even a decade and a half. So I wouldn't underestimate the long-term potential of this restructuring of the U.S. economy and what could come of it. And you know, some of the hidden benefits of this tax cut could come into play here in the next couple of years. Especially if the deficit starts coming down, that'll be very bullish for markets as well, and also if global growth rebounds as we expect it to, you know, it's going to be, you know, all boats rising. So and maybe they're going to get the memo and they actually lower rates down somewhat, you know, back to 2% or even 1.5%, something like that. You know, it could happen. It could happen. Hang on a sec.
You think? Go ahead. Let me bring up that SPY chart. Let me find it.
Hi, sorry about that. Okay.
So here comes the SPY chart.
Okay, great. In a bar?
I can make it a bar, make it a candle, anything you want.
Yeah, candle, sorry, candle.
Okay, there is the spider on a weekly. What do you want, on daily?
Daily, yeah.
Okay, there we go on daily. All right.
Yeah, do you see the island bottom there, Dwayne? See that?
Right here?
Yeah. And that's a pretty rare phenomenon. And this doji, upside down doji down at the bottom, you know, the fact that
right
this
here?
was totally, very
gravestone doji. Is that it? That a gravestone? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. The fact that was reversed is really significant. And look at the last time. I mean, we had a kind of a island bottom back in June. See that? June, July. And look where it took us.
Right here.
Yeah, I think this is much more dynamic. This bottom here, you know, this is much more like this thing could really rip higher. Now, there's a bit of a caveat. If you go back to the weekly, now you got to be very, very careful when you see a kind of like a total down week like this one, right? Like this and then you see a kind of an up week, which could go a little bit more. In other words, they're like a sort of a duo, if you like. So if this thing runs into trouble, probably around 275, 276, and starts to fall over, then you know, this whole thing could be very different. You know, it could come apart. So you just have to keep that in mind. Because that's a potentially vicious formation. In other words, if we don't, you know, blast out on the upside, and this thing, you know, if there's some sort of bad news comes out, or maybe this deal doesn't work out with China, or you know, whatever.
Well, boy, I'll tell you what. When they sit down for dinner Saturday night, their working dinner, as they call it, the whole world will be waiting to hear some kind of news, and nobody will be able to really take any action until the Sunday night Globex Open. Whether they come out of there hugging each other, or one of them gets mad and storms out, nobody can react until Sunday night. So Sunday night Globex should be a big night either way.
Yeah, exactly. So but a few, you know, the fact that Boeing is rallying as well as it is, I think, is a good sign. It's going to be one of the big beneficiaries. Need to get FedEx is still kind of subdued here. Some of these other stocks, leading stocks, the mid caps are coming back pretty strongly. I mean, it looks the Nasdaq is not. I mean, it's still down 20. Dow is down about 28. You know, it'd be good if we can go green today, that would be very good. But that's the thing that just bothers me a little bit, of that weekly. And so it's, I mean, if we gapped up next week, right, then you're probably looking at something really, really extraordinary and could be extremely powerful on the upside of this formation.
Now, is there another chart you said you wanted to look at?
Well, the Dow is probably not a great, I don't think the formation is as good as the S&P, but it's similar. You know, it's probably worth looking at.
The futures, or
no, the regular, the Dow itself.
How am I going to have to pull that up under on this thing? Dow. Okay. Dow Jones Industrial Average. No, that same weekly thing is
if you look at it, I mean, look at it's sort of kind of a perfect ABC deal, and you know, I mean, what are we doing here? We're kind of building value at higher levels after a meteoric rise and breakout. You know, this thing goes past 27,000, 27,500. I mean, it's probably headed for 30,000. Maybe even 33, 32, 33,000 on this next leg. I mean, it's going to be a big up leg off this.
Now, this is a daily. You got that same island bottom right
there. There you go. Yeah. It's might even better, actually. Yeah. So, and there was a kind of an island bottom at the top, if you see before we went down. So these things are pretty powerful. They tend to, you know, they tend to have legs.
And so on the Dow, we run into some issues up around 26,000.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you know, a friend of mine who's pretty savvy, he was saying a long time ago, you know, when this Dow corrects, everybody's going to be all in and you know, for the next leg up. And while it's not been a quick correction by any means, it's really been almost a year-long correction. The fact that it is a year long and has kind of worn everybody out. I mean, this could be like, you know, a minor version of 1994, where the Fed was raising rates in 94, and the markets, you know, went sideways for a year, and by the end of the year, everybody was very pessimistic. In fact, I think I've told you before on the show that the crazy, you know, we weren't that far from all-time highs like where we are today, right? But the sentiment was so, I mean, look, the sentiment, you know where the sentiment is on the extreme fear thing. It's like, you know, extreme fear right now still, even though this rally has taken place, it's still at an extreme level. So the sentiment has gone from bullish to bearish, you know, pretty rapidly. And that sets us up for a potentially very big rally. And this is what happened in 94. I mean, it's hard to believe this, but on the 12th of December, or on Wall Street Week, I think it was on the 9th of December, or 94, I'll never forget it. You know, Lou Ruggiser said that it was the lowest sentiment, the most negative sentiment since the Depression lows. It was the second most bearish of all time. And that's why we went out on December 12th and put a buy signal out on the market. And we actually said, you know, we were at about 3,300, 3,400 or so. I said, look, the Dow is going to 5,000 in the next 18 months. You know, it's going to go up by about 2,000 points, 5,500. And that's exactly what happened. And then after that, we, you know, upgraded over time to, you know, we were probably one of the first people to call for 10,000 Dow from about, you know, 5,500, 6,000, 6,500 area, you know, that it would go all the way. Just the same as we're saying today that the composite, the NASDAQ composite, could go to 11,000, you know, from where it is at the moment, around about 7. You know, it wouldn't be that big of a deal for the NASDAQ composite to go up that much over the next couple of years.
Now, we have Fed minutes out today at 2 Eastern. Do you think Powell came out to speak yesterday to get out ahead of something that's in those minutes?
You know, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. You know, that could rock the markets. could affect everything, including the metals. It might cause a correction, another pullback possibly. So
I'm just thinking, and Karen just reminded me that those minutes are coming out this afternoon. But if there's maybe some heavy-handed language in there, maybe some.
It's probably gonna hurt the markets if that happens. Because it'll probably be just a kind of a pull. Maybe it's another pullback down to near today's lows, and then it might recover again. Sort of rallying into the summit.
Yeah. Well, it certainly looks like it wants to rally into those minutes. So, yeah,
right.
We'll see what happens. We still got an hour and 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'd be very careful having thought of that right now, because I've got a feeling the minutes might be kind of more hawkish on the interest rates. I
think so. This is just my thought, and that's all it is. I haven't heard anybody else discuss it, but thinking maybe he wanted to just say ahead of these minutes that have to come out, public record, all that. Hey, I've maybe rethought some of the things that were said, at that last Fed meeting, and he's just letting people know that what they're going to read today is historic, but he's rethought it, and he's got a new plan. I don't know. It's conjecture. It just seemed odd for him to come out with that statement yesterday, although it was right ahead of the G20, and that ties in too. I don't know. What about this mess?
By the way, the oil is acting pretty good today too.
Yeah, that's the biggest gain of the day.
Yeah, and we called it yesterday, if you remember. Sort of said we expected to go up.
Yeah, we're up from. See this low here at 3:30 this morning after the London Open.
Yeah, I think I didn't see what the gas. Let's see what happened with the gas today.
John, there's something. There's all over 19 states have gas under $2.
Wow.
Some fellow in Texas, I think, has it at like $1.70 or something.
Just a second. Let's see. Let's just pull up today's news.
So with this huge
that's
season,
that's a really good price. That's a great price.
Yeah, and low gas prices. I mean, it's kind of the perfect storm for things to continue to do well.
Oh, okay. Guess what? The natural gas was only 59 billion down, and yet the price is up. How about that? Look at that. That's crazy.
Now, yesterday, I believe it was, I mentioned rolling natural gas forward. I meant copper. Let's see.
Wow.
Let me check. I had that chart up earlier. All right, so we'll go with, is this the one I wanted? Oh, that's because I'm on a weekly. Okay, let's back that out. All right. So we're in the right contract.
By the way, orange juice is up pretty sharply today too, which is another kind of I think we're in for a pretty cold snap here in the next few days.
Now, what would be considered a high price for natural gas?
Boy, it honestly looks like it really does look like it really does look like that's going to happen. So I mean, if it's going up on a lower use of gas, that's pretty bullish. So
well, I mean, I'm looking back to November of 2013, and price almost made it to $5. It got up to a high of.
Well, taking out. I think picking out the 5 is a very big deal, and it's I think actually, remember, natural gas got right down to about 2.5 or so, not so long ago, so it's already double the range, and usually when you see that, there's a potential to double again. So I wouldn't, I would definitely be remain pretty bullish on natural gas, and the surprises might be on the upside.
Now these are daily candles, recent. Let me just shrink this down.
Yeah, we're starting to go positive on the indices right now. This is really actually pretty good action.
These are daily candles on natural gas, and look at how quiet that market was until all of a sudden it just exploded here on November 8th.
Yeah, it's been building. I mean, look, Jesus. I mean, that's really bullish. This thing's going to go way higher. It looks really bullish. Look at that.
And then bang.
Yeah. No, it's dynamic.
And that gap never filled, guys, and it's
dynamically bullish. This thing, dynamically bullish. This thing could be a mother of all short squeeze. You know, they caught some hedge fund had written a whole bunch of options or something. They'd written some call options, and they got absolutely crucified. You know.
Did you hear Deutsche Bank got raided this morning?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that. Oh, somebody was it you were? Somebody was telling me that they're going after all the gold manipulators. You know, all the people
that I don't know about. Supposedly, I think the Deutsche Bank thing was money laundering. 160 police swarmed their main headquarters in Germany.
Wow.
Let me see, Deutsche Bank raid. Yeah, here we go. All right, Deutsche Bank headquarters raided by police. The head office and other locations in Frankfurt were raided by 170 police officers and tax investigators yesterday as part of a money laundering probe. Prosecutors said the raids targeted
you know that feeling when the last strip of grass is exactly the width of
employees and others who've not yet been identified. The German bank is suspected of helping clients set up offshore companies and tax havens. According to prosecutors, investigators are looking at whether Deutsche Bank failed to report suspicious transactions.
Check out the stock TB. It's not exactly the bullish. It's kind of like. By the way, do you know this GE? Do you know that it's got about $100 billion worth of debt? You know, they basically wasted 40 billion buying back their own stock, right?
Right.
You got $100 billion worth of debt, and they bought a oil and gas company a couple of years ago, a few years ago. I can't think of the name right now, but they basically lost half their money. I think they paid 40 billion for it, and they just sold a small percentage for about 4 billion to keep them alive, and it valued it at about half the price, 20 billion. So they've blown another 20 billion on that deal.
Wow.
Just incredible. Wow. Yeah, look, this doesn't look too healthy, that stock.
Now,
it's kind of like GE. It's like,
now they say this raid today is related to the Panama Papers, which was that 2016 investigation into money laundering. So what it comes down to is they're accusing Deutsche Bank of laundering money. Basically.
Yeah, I saw a Panama handle on Twitter this morning in the trends, and I was wondering what how that kind of happened today, and now we know. So
okay, Deutsche Bank back in 2017 settled with the U.S. government for $7.2 billion to settle claims it packaged and sold toxic mortgages, just like Goldman Sachs. It was fined $630 million the same month over a Russian money laundering scheme. So this sounds like Jamie Dimon's bank. You know, hey, we do whatever we want, and then we pay the penalty. You know. Well,
Deutsche Bank is almost like a government bank in Germany, so it's even worse. So
this is government collusion.
Well, I mean, the government. I think the government is kind of pretty strongly behind Deutsche. I mean, Deutsche Bank is the biggest bank in Germany.
170 police officers go racing in there this morning, and the stock's down what, 3%?
Yeah.
I mean, look at it's only trading at $9, but
yeah.
You see any kind of bargain here at this price?
I wouldn't touch it right now. I think
this chart does not excite me in any way whatsoever.
I mean, you know, you can never. I mean, look at that previous. I mean, look,
If I was going to trade it, I guess I would short it if I were gonna trade it.
You know, you have to be careful because a lot of times, sometimes by the time the people show up, it's maybe getting near the end of whatever they're doing. You know, so you can never tell because you know it's like Tesla. You know, 1 minute it was down in the dumps, and then you know they did a deal a few days later, and it was all over. You know what I mean? You have to be very careful of that.
You know, I completely forgot today's Thursday. Been a crazy week. Let me look and see if Dr. Tom's in here. Today being his day. I don't see him. Dr. Tom, if you're out there listening in, shoot me a message here on the whatever. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, John. Sorry, it slipped my mind today was Thursday.
Yeah, that's okay. So, what else is happening?
Not much. I mean, this quiet market. We've been, boy, on the alerts. We've had probably fewer alerts this week than since we started. The Logic 24/7. The Concierge Trade Alerts been around a very long time, and so we've seen periods like this. It's not that there hasn't been any movement. It's just that the market's looking for direction. It's looking for a voice. It's looking for strength. And I thought it caught it last night, perhaps. I did think this was a bit overdone.
Yeah.
So we get a little pullback. What is that pullback? Just from the low to the high. Yeah, we almost tagged a 38% retracement. So that may be enough to push us up.
It's a pretty healthy sign when you get a strong day followed by a little bit of a pullback. That's usually, usually a sign we're going to go higher.
This daily chart right here says that we could, if we can take out yesterday's high, then we could sail right up to this 27.65, 66 area.
Yeah. The dollar. Oh, you pull up the dollar, Dwayne, if you wouldn't mind.
U.S. dollar. You want futures? What is it you want?
Try let's look at the cash for the moment. Let's see what that looks like. The DXY maybe.
DXY. Let's try that. This guy.
Yeah. If you put the weekly up. Look, do you see the trend line there? I mean, if this trend line breaks, this thing could really tank big time. Yeah, you see if you squeeze that up a bit, you'll see it a bit better, but this is a pretty significant potential weekly top in the making. So, and right now, even though we rallied a little bit today, if we break probably 96.75, if we break tomorrow, and you're going to keep an eye on this because the golds are pulling back a little bit today after yesterday. But if you start to see gold strength tomorrow and gold stocks going up and the dollar going down, it could mean it's the end of this run for the dollar. It could mean it's over on the upside.
What about this mess at the border, John? I mean, something's got to give. There's, I forget how, 6,000 people in an area designed to hold. Well, but they're in that shelter that they've set up. It's designed to hold 1,000 people, and they got one little.
It's really tough. Look, I mean, these people. I mean, it's just Tijuana is. Tijuana is a pretty sophisticated city. It's.
Gosh, I haven't been there since the late 70s.
Yeah, but it really is kind of. It's. I mean, look, it's right on the border. It gets a lot of kind of wealth. In fact, if you drive down and Baja. All down that coast, I mean, there's properties along there, just fantastic. There's a huge amount of a huge number of people who live, Americans who live along all the way down to La Paz, and of course with with Cabo and all these places down at the
destinations.
tip.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I told you when I was on the Love Boat, my first trip to Cabo San Lucas, there was nothing there. There were it was just the beach, and Acapulco was kind of pretty small as well. It was just it was a bit more than a village, but it's nothing like today. And the same in the Virgin Islands, like St. Thomas and Cancun, the same thing. Cancun is just staggering.
When we started going to Rocky Point, there was pretty much nothing there, and now it's just incredible with these high-rise condos and penthouses.
I mean, Tijuana is about 1.5 to 2 million population. It's a pretty far. I mean, if you've been to Monterey, Monterey is like Los Angeles. I mean, it's really a fast city, and I think Tijuana is pretty similar these days. And you got all these people, sleeping in the streets and everything. That's terrible. And I mean, now it's really cold over there, so they're having a pretty tough time.
And it's raining, and people
quite a lot of people are starting to move out and go back. So it's probably going to come down to a more manageable number before too long, because after a while people are just going to give up. I mean, I don't know how long the handouts are going to last either. It's kind of a pretty big undertaking.
Yeah, is the U.S. sending any money down to support that effort?
I don't know.
Because they interviewed a guy who was part of the caravan this morning, and he said, these people, most of these people are so disappointed. He goes, the organizers of this caravan, this march, they misled us. It's not like they said it was going to be. And I think that's true for an awful lot of the people. But then also they interviewed a guy yesterday, I think, that they caught. He got caught in Vegas, I forget how many years ago. He was exported back to Honduras on a special plane. And I guess the American taxpayer had to pay for that plane to take him back to Honduras and dump him off. And he got caught in Calexico the other day, and they did a biometric thing and figured out who he was. So now he's... this guy, he just wanted to talk. Yeah, I'm a member of MS-13. I thought I could get in with the caravan. Once I was inside, I could, claim asylum. He just told them everything. So... Well,
he could always say he was an ex-member, he feared for his life.
And the other guy they interviewed that said everybody's disappointed, he said people are on the verge of either A, rushing the border, or B, going back home. I think they're so tired. So tired and sick and hungry and wet and cold right now. I don't think they got much fight in them. I think
it's starting to look that way.
So now the question is, how do you get them back home? I mean, they made this long, courageous march, fueled by these phony baloney. Whoever instigated all this, and I think we know who did. But anyway, I think we'll get back home. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's one thing marching towards the border because, man, you're headed for a better way of life and all that stuff. Now going back home to the place you ran from, boy, talk about a death march of baton. I mean, that's just, it's bad.
Yeah.
I think
I think this experience might actually put an end to these caravans. I think that, I think the new government in Mexico is probably going to take measures to control, because I mean they do deport a lot of people, and they have, right now they got a whole bunch of people in the country that don't even know who they are.
Got a bunch of people in the country they don't know who. What do you mean?
I mean, the Mexican government has got a whole bunch of people in that just they basically push their way into the country. If you remember, I mean, there's no visas or anything. It's kind of unusual.
That's the thing, that the fact that they aggressively hit those borders. I mean, this is just a nightmare. It really is.
Yeah, we're starting to come off here, Dwayne, and the VIXs are starting to rise too. So our caution was justified. It looks like we're selling off ahead of this report. So that may be a good thing. You know, I think you have to play it by ear. I would probably have some buy stops just above the market in case.
And we have had them there since last night.
Yeah, right. So, okie doke. Well, listen, thanks for the invite.
Thank you, John.
Catch you
It's
tomorrow.
been
Much
great
obliged.
as always. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you. Likewise. Thanks.
Okay, guys, with these quiet sideways markets, not a lot we can do but go to our good word for the day. Good thing we got a good word for the day. The workshop is tonight. All partners, passport holders, 9 p.m. Eastern. Michael probably mentioned that to you, but I'll mention it again. All right. Today, we're going to talk about passion. Everybody saw Passion of the Christ. What an incredible movie. We actually got a special license from Sony to show that movie at our church when it first came out. And a guy constructed a huge, like, drive-in movie theater screen, which we set up in the backyard. Well, not the backyard, in the parking lot behind the church. And wow, what a turnout we had. Most of the people, because the church is located in downtown Phoenix, not too far from the Cass Homeless Shelter, we had a lot of people. And to try to stand and speak after that movie and do a humble altar call, wow, that was something else. Let's just say that. But we're going to talk about passion. Hebrews 12:2 says this: He saw the joy ahead of him. Concerning Jesus, the Bible says this. Hebrews 12:2 through 12:3. We must focus on Jesus, the source and goal of our faith. He saw the joy ahead of him, so he endured death on the cross and ignored the disgrace it brought him. Think about Jesus so that you don't become tired and give up. Hebrews 12:2 through 3. It's your vision that fuels your passion. So if you don't have passion, you need to take a look at your vision. Ever notice how God often transforms the worst of sinners into his greatest servants? That's because they're passionate. And once that passion is harnessed and redirected, they become effective in his kingdom. Now you understand why the enemy has tried so hard to destroy you. He knows that once you line up your passion with God's plan, that there's really no stopping him. Passion is spiritual energy. Without it, you're as limp as a wet noodle and as bland as hospital food. So instead of trying to stifle your passion, let God redirect it. Jesus told the end age church, Revelations 3:15, you are neither hot nor cold. I wish that you were one or the other. Who is he speaking to? This is Revelation. He's talking to the end-age church. Neither hot nor cold. Who's he speaking to? Well, perhaps he's speaking to professing Christians who live, marry, have children, buy cars, accumulate stuff, and do all the things their modern-day counterparts do, but without passion. They're simply going through the motions. The Bible says, taste and see. That's in Psalm 34:8. In other words, step up to the plate and swing the bat. So what if you miss? The fact is, you'll miss for sure if you don't swing. But if you swing, you just might connect. Your instinct for self-preservation can rob you of the only chance you may ever get at life. So, if you're down today, I want to encourage you to get back up. Said it yesterday, day before, get up. If you failed, try again. If you failed a couple of times, try again. If you've had a string of failures, get up. Ask God to rekindle the fire of passion within you and to give you a clear vision to do everything that He has asked you to do and created you to do. That's our good word for the day. Look at your passion, look at your vision, talk to God. If you're lacking passion, you're lacking vision, ask God to give you vision. The passion will arise. You'll connect with God's plan for your life. And the enemy at that point just has to kind of step back. Well, that's it for today. This sort of quiet Thursday, 29th day of November, 2018. If you need me, I'll be in the Telegram later, so catch me there. Again, workshop tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you've been on the trial and you want to become a CFRN partner, you want to become a passport holder, get a hold of us, 949-423-6464, 833-464-6393. I'll make it easy. 949-42-EMINI. Give us a ring and we'll make sure that you get into that workshop tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Look forward to seeing you all there. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.